It was a good day, guys, for the top of this running back class in free agency as Travis Etienne agreed to a 4-year, $52 million deal with the Saints. Jay, the Saints offense right now, they've done a good job building up this offensive line. They also signed David Edwards, their only open spot on the offensive line at their left guard spot. They have the bookends at tackles. They have Cris Olave. Tyler Shuck played really well under Kellen Moore. Now they have their workhorse back, as Alvin Kamara obviously has declined over the years. Travis Etienne, coming off a career year, enters the New Orleans backfield.
Yeah, I feel like I jumped off the Saints bandwagon at precisely the wrong time during the Spencer Rattler era, and now instead have this Indianapolis Colts flag behind me, and we'll get to the Colts, but they are trending perhaps in the wrong direction. Saints definitely trending in the right direction, and Etienne, look, I don't like, what's Travis Etienne? Is he the 14th, 15th best running back in the NFL? You typically don't want to pay those guys a ton, but where the rest of this team is at, the fact that Shuck showed what he did in the second half of the season, the fact they have a legit wide receiver one in Cris Olave, the fact that the defense is excellent and is probably the best defense in that division. This is a team that, kind of out of nowhere, because they were going from, Spencer Rattler starting games to now a legitimate chance at winning the division next year. And I think what makes Etienne a bit more defensible as a signing, Connor, is that this offensive line for New Orleans is in a pretty good spot at the moment.
Yeah, I think, number one, they've hit on both picks at tackle, right? Now they've added a guard, Matthew, that can help them kind of solidify this entire unit. There's no weak spot. We know that they can run the football schematically. It's easy to be very high on the Saints offense right now. Like the way they finished the season, the way they can throw the ball with the young quarterback, and now Etienne, who, healthy and reliable last year, is a huge addition and was, once again, like the Chiefs. I think the Saints realized Jeremiah Love was not making it to the 8th overall pick in the draft, and they went out and wisely addressed this in free agency.
Yeah, it's super interesting because I know the underlying metrics on Etienne aren't amazing, right? And but they needed to do something, right? Last year, no team in the NFL had fewer running back rushing yards than the New Orleans Saints. It just, love Alvin Kamara. I said this on my video that I did for social yesterday, but clearly at the end of his career. And Travis Etienne, you mentioned about sort of healthy and productive, I think people would be shocked to learn that since 2022, Travis Etienne has 2 missed games. Literally only 2 missed games since 2022. He's had over 1,300 yards from scrimmage in 3 of the past 4 years. So surprisingly durable. Feels like he's always questionable with a hamstring.
Right, banged up. Yeah.
But he always ends up showing up. And so, I think if there's a concern here, it is that Kellen Moore offenses tend not to target the running back all that much. Now, I think Kellen Moore offenses are pretty good generally. I think they use the running back. You think about the Saquon Barkley year in Philadelphia when Kellen Moore was calling plays. You think about all the years in Dallas, the Chargers, whatever. But generally speaking, Kellen Moore, I think, calls a pretty good offense and a pretty good run game. He just don't use their running backs in the passing game all that much. But obviously, when you're getting a $52 million contract, you're going to be the guy. Kamara is still on the roster. We'll see what his role in this team will be. But I think Travis Etienne is kind of a mid-tier RB2. Again, lack of passing game involvement makes him more of an RB2 than an RB1 for me. But I think he's in that 14 to 18 range. I think he's super solid. And then the other part here, Connor, and you can talk about this because we were excited about him a year ago. And now it's time, at least for the moment, to get really excited about Bashal Tutin.
That's right. This elevates his role, a guy that can hit the big play, can factor into the passing game. And there's, obviously things can change with the rest of free agency or more importantly, the draft, but there's just built-in reps for him. And the good news is it looked like they were trying to find ways to get him on the field as is. They just had talent in front of him. As we see Scott in the chat says, I'm buying as many shares of Tutin in Jacksonville this year in my drafts. I'm with you all the way. It's a player I really, really liked in his draft class. He's an excellent athlete. He's an explosive runner. And we know this offense, it can be tricky to figure out because they almost have so much talent. By the way, we'll see if Brian Thomas Jr. is on the move where that would change. But that is something that is a trickle effect of this that I'm excited about.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotorWorld.com. And I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched. Or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.